Today is all about opening the chest and the back and creating the torso all a bit more expansive. So to that end, we'll be looking at Adho Mukha Svanasana, Uttanasana, Urdhva Mukha Paschimottanasana, Chaturanga Dandasana, that type of thing, yeah? So we're going to need a chair and a sticky mat underneath so the chair doesn't slip, a yoga brick or equivalent, and very probably also a bolster or some kind of cushion. Let's go. We're going to sit in front of the chair like so, and we're going to squeeze with the palms of our hands the brick, putting the elbows on the chair and walking back with our knees so we can have a kind of tabletop position where the torso is parallel with the floor. And we just want to spend a moment breathing in the expansion, above all in the shoulder area, the armpit, upper arm area. So just take a moment to understand what's going on there. Now for some of us, this is really quite tough, so remember to use the breathing. And obviously observe throughout this short practice that the lower abdomen is gently coming in towards the spine, the solar plexus is moving towards the head, or in this case, the chair. And so you've got these two complementary and yet opposite movements happening in the belly area of the torso. And then to come out, we can just walk in and just spend a moment sitting down. Maybe you want to move your shoulders a little bit back and forward to the sides. We'll do that again. Take the brick between your hands, walk back, and one more time we're going to have our torso parallel with the floor. Squeeze the brick with your hands, lower abdomen in, solar plexus, chest moving towards the chair. So we're not pushing the chest down at all. If anything, the chest is moving away from the pelvis towards the chair. Feel the weight of the elbows sinking into the seat of the chair and breathe. And then you can just walk in and sit quietly for a moment. Again, feeling those 2 points of the torso, the complementary points that are moving away from each other. So just feel them as you're sitting for a moment. Sigh. And then we're going to do that again, but we're going to put in some variations. So starting off tabletop, 90 degrees between the forearms and the upper arms. And then on the next exhalation, you're going to close that 90 degrees and make it as tight a degree as possible between the forearm and the upper arm. And all the while, remember to understand what's going on in the lower abdomen, the solar plexus. Don't lose those 2 points. Keep on squeezing the brick with the hands. And then from there, we're going to come back to 90 degrees and increase the angle over 90 degrees to however far you want. It might also depend on what chair you have. If you have a chair which has a full backrest, then you're not going to be able to get your hands very far. If, however, you've got space, you can extend the arms out as much as you want. And then come back to 90 degrees, walk in towards the chair and have a break. Again, you might want to move your shoulders around a wee bit, your back and forward to the side, and then sit quietly, the mind on those 2 points of the torso, or more to the point, the belly. Squeeze the thighs together, create a really good base so that your spine can just expand upwards. And then we try that one more time. So it's really important not to grab or hold the brick. You squeeze the brick between the palms of your hands. So starting off in 90 degrees and then working to make the angle more acute. Bear in mind the lower abdomen is coming towards the spine very gently. Don't exaggerate that movement, but we do need it. And then feel the movement of the solar plexus. The chest is moving forwards towards the chair. Don't push it down. And then come back to 90 degrees with your arms, and then start to make the degrees between your forearm and your upper arm a little larger. And then you can come back to 90 degrees, walk in and have a break. And then move your brick away. We're going to place the lower palms of our hands on the edge of the chair like so. And we're going to come into a type of Uttanasana with your legs bent. And even here, feel that the bottom is going back and the chest is coming forward towards the chair. Head is just nice and relaxed. Observe the breathing. Make the breathing as quiet as possible. Check that your feet are parallel and also your heels are parallel. Now, keeping the legs bent, you can start to move the heels as close to the ground as you can. Still keeping the legs bent and still making sure the movement of the bottom is going behind and the movement of the chest is going forward. And then if you want, you can start to straighten your legs, but that's an option. If straightening your legs means that your bottom comes forward, then don't do it. And then bend your legs again. Look towards the chair. We're going to walk a couple of steps forward. Bring the hands onto the backrest. It's probably better to have the sides of the hands on the backrest. And then just come into a type of Ardha Uttanasana. Gently bend your legs. As you're breathing in and out, observe the lower abdomen, the solar plexus. And then move back into Uttanasana. Start off with your bent legs. Bring your heels onto the ground, if you can. Remember that the feet should be parallel, so the heels need to be parallel as well. And then if you want to straighten your legs, you can. And then focus on the breathing. Keep that throat nice and open. And then this time when we do the Uttanasana, you can either keep high as before, or you could fold your arms on the chair with a gentle bend in your legs and just place your forehead onto your folded arms. And then whether you're up higher on the backrest or with your forearms and head on the seat of the chair, when you start to straighten, if you start to straighten your legs, make sure that the bottom has this sensation of still moving away from the torso, and the torso moves away from the bottom. And then we'll go back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. This time with the heels on the ground and legs as straight as you can, and this pelvis going back, chest going forward idea, because from there we're going to come onto the tips of our toes and move into a type of Ardha Chaturanga Dandasana, or plank, really. So we've got quite a strong retroversion going on here. And it's as if the whole of the front of the body wants to touch the ceiling. And then I can just come back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then I can move with an exhalation into Ardha Chaturanga Dandasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana again. Ardha Chaturanga Dandasana. And then we're going to move our hands out to the side, keeping this idea of the front part of the body moving up towards the ceiling. We're going to bend our arms to the side, and we're not going to think about going down. We're going to think about moving towards the backrest, and then we come up. Ladies, this is much harder for us, so be very aware of the lower abdomen moving up as you move forward. And you can do this as many times as you want. I'm just going to do 3. And then I'll move my hands back onto the edge of the chair. And then we can walk in and do Uttanasana again. So choose the way you want to do it.